Welcome to the Phoenix Podcast, where we discuss mental health in the Black community. Tune in for weekly episodes with your hosts, John and Chris. Yes, we're good. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're rolling. What did we say? This is going to be 7. So recording the Phoenix Podcast, recording number 7. Boom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. What's up, yo? What's up?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's
Exactly.
happening? What's happening?
1, 2, 1, 2.
It's a 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Testicle 1, testicle 2.
Bopping bishops.
Hey.
Bopping bishops.
She sells seashells by the seashore. Yeah. Me. Hey, remember Seth Riggs? Seth Riggs.
What's it? What?
It was a vocal coach to the Stars.
Oh, really?
He coached Michael Jackson, People Bryson.
He did all his
Bette Midler.
Uh-huh.
He had this thing where he does a lip roll. He like.
Wow.
So you kind of like your bridge, right? Because if you're a tenor,
Okay.
it allows you to go from yeah. But it's not forced. It's like, because if you go from your high register to your low register without the break, because what happens is if you go from falsetto to you drop into the chest voice, you're not supposed to drop into it. You're supposed to transition. Right. So smooth, right? But if you do see, I just right.
Okay.
Because this is my passage is like I think it's like B flat to an A. That's kind of like my first break, and then there's another break from the chest voice to your lower register. So when you do, you see, there's no break. There's a break because you dropped out of it.
Yeah.
You feel the vibration?
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Because then what that does also, it brings your, what we said, he said singing from the mask. That means you project where you're not in your throat. So you bring it forward. So before a performance, or you do the da-da-da-da-da-da, half a step, right. So, and then half a step, there you go. Yeah. And I was a little flat on my top note.
Okay.
So what that does, and if you feel now your voice is actually more clear, more present, then you brought your voice into the mask, what he calls. So it's a great exercise to do, like to get that flowing, and also it's not about forcing it. It's just about letting it flow, and then you have that, and you feel the buzzing sensation, like your lips are buzzy, your nose.
Yeah.
That means now you know. Before you you deliver a speech, or you perform on stage, or even before the podcast, it's good to do that. Now it brings you into you don't hear me do it, but I'm usually kind of like even just that.
Even during the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then you never see me do it, but I probably do it before you got here, or sometime in the morning. I'll just do.
And you're good to go for the
And
day.
you're good to go. And then it's like it brings your voice. It warms you up. Nice. It's like a lubricant. It lubricates your machine, your apparatus,
Which is
your
voice.
instrument.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a lesson brought to you by Seth Riggs. Who remembers Seth Riggs? If you remember Seth Riggs, just comment below. Just let us know if you do remember Seth Riggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a rich tone, rich voice.
He's still around?
I'm not sure. In fact, Seth, sorry, I don't want to kill you. So before I say anything, let me just do a quick little search on Seth Riggs to see if he's still around, if he's still in this plane of existence. Seth Riggs, GGS. Let's see, Seth. So, as I search for a dear old friend, Seth Riggs, welcome to the Phoenix Podcast. I am your host, John,
And I'm Chris.
and today the topic of discussion is.
Money. Or rather, no romance, but not finance. It's all about money. Or other finance.
Yes, folks, so we're talking about money, moolah, pesa, dosh.
Chums.
What's chums?
Me choosy.
I like that one.
Maniado.
Yeah, I like chums.
EDC, EDC.
Yeah. So this is what we're talking about, folks. So, as money is. Some people say it's the root of all evil, but I don't think so. I think money is a means to an end. It allows you to do certain things. It affords you certain freedoms in life. It could be the root of some evil if you are
Evil.
evil. Yes.
Aspiring to be evil.
Exactly. And I always say, if you're an asshole with no money, you're going to be a bigger asshole with money.
Yes. Trump. Excuse me.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, so they say that God made man, man made money, and money made man mad.
There you
That's
go.
what they say.
Yes.
But here's the thing: when it comes to finance, I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody feels, you have an extra pep in your step. Life is a little more bearable, enjoyable when you have money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could certainly see that because that worry that's associated with cash depletion or cash deficiency. Because one thing that it's one of my philosophies. I never utter the words that I am broke.
Really?
I don't do that. No.
Oh.
If I'm, I say, I'm not cash fluid at the moment.
Fiscally deficient?
I'm a little, fiscally deficient at the moment. I'm cash depleted for the time being, but the BROKE, I never say that I am.
Because words have power.
Yeah, well, and I firmly believe in that. So I may be, a little bit less fluid, right? But that's all it is. I see it as a transitional period of time to which where on the other side of that, the drought or deficiency, there's going to be abundance. There's going to be plentifulness.
Have you ever been at a position in time in your life whereby you've actually not been fluid at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, it happens to the best of us, even billionaires and millionaires. You reach a point in your life where, you are, this is the reality of life. It's like the ebb and flow of life, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're either up or you're either down. Yeah, it happens. It happens. And what you do, you navigate it. You make sure that you know that it's a transitional period of time where at the end of that, and then of course you're proactive.
Yeah.
You make sure you put all your ducks in a row, and you have certain things, certain steps you take to usher yourself into a plentiful life.
Have you ever been at a point in time in your life whereby you've been so cash depleted that you've thought long and hard before seeking assistance, even if it's from friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I believe in self sufficiency.
Yes.
And I believe also in asking for help when it's warranted.
Yes.
Because no man's an island, right? But also you don't want to overextend yourself either, because then we all have our our responsibilities,
Yeah, of
our
course.
obligations.
Yeah.
So you don't want to necessarily pile on to your friends and family when you're having a tough time, and you just you live within your means at any particular time. Because I mean, I always say this: I'm as comfortable living a 5-star lifestyle as living a minus 5-star lifestyle. You know what I mean?
And you've lived both lifestyles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm equally, comfortable at some point, in my life, our lives, myself and my ex-wife. Yeah,
Yes.
we've
Yeah.
lived in, 5-star hotels.
Yes.
We've lived the life, but it's at some point also we've lived, eating bananas and whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we were equally happy.
Well, see, life is what you make it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And finance is such a big thing in our lives. It's a huge issue.
It is.
Because it's like it's what gives you self worth,
Yeah.
which it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be because it's just it's like I said, it's a means to an end, right? And when you find yourself in situations where your self worth is attached to your actual monetary worth, then there's a disconnect there. Because of course now that puts a pep in your step when your balance shows what you like to see.
Exactly.
You know
The
what I mean?
zeros.
Yes.
Yeah. Not negative. I mean, zeros
Dude,
towards the
yeah.
end.
Multiple
the other
zeros
direction.
on that side.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And of course, it makes you feel good about yourself. But at the same time, you have to learn to gauge and navigate the pluses and the minuses. For instance, I remember like early on in a relationship, my past relationship, and when we actually decided to become a couple, I was, many years ago. She had a group of friends that were very extremely materialistic. The Gucci bags, the Louis, and the designer clothes and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then I sat her down. I was like, "Listen, this is not going to happen here, okay?" And I remember the conversation very clearly, and she understood that very, very clearly. And I said, "You know what? It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have the mindset that you're always going to trying to keep up with the Joneses,
Oh,
this is
wow.
what's
Yeah.
going to happen because it'll never be enough.
Yes.
Whether we make $1,000 a month or $10,000 or
Exactly.
$100,000 a month,
yeah.
your lifestyle is going to basically elevate itself to the level of your income, what you can afford. What you think is enough at 1,000 a month, when you go to 10,000, your needs are going to increase with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's up to you and me now to gauge. Say, you know what? No matter what, we're just gonna live in that bracket. Okay. Of course, we're not gonna be misers to a fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There were certain luxuries you afford. You can afford yourself. You want a trip to Bali? Well, let's
Because,
go.
I believe when you have the finances and you've worked hard for them,
Yeah.
treat yourself to, even if it's a new pair of shoes kind of thing.
Absolutely,
feel good
yeah.
about yourself,
But then again, I'm talking about excesses like have 4, 5, 6, 10 cars.
What for?
What for?
Really?
Yeah. 3 houses.
No, I mean, you can only sleep in one bed at one time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah.
You know what I mean? So there are certain excesses that are completely unwarranted. And those resources could be put to better use if you do something philanthropically. If you do something like, I don't know, a community center,
Spend
for
the money
instance.
wisely.
Spend it
Remember what happened
wisely.
to MC Hammer?
Yes.
At one time, he had so many people on his payroll, he didn't even know what. It was just a guy just there for, he didn't even know what that guy does.
Exactly.
Just like,
Right. That's
He had the
foolishness,
hood,
But
you
again
know?
and again, it's financial literacy, because for a lot of us in the melanated community,
Yes.
we are not taught to manage
money.
money.
Yeah.
And a lot of entertainers, athletes. Of course, we don't talk about
Celebrities in general, yeah.
celebrities in
Yeah,
general. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So you end up in a situation where you are not ready to receive that influx of wealth that you can't manage. You get overwhelmed.
Unless you're very clever and you happen to be managed by Myers, and Myers.
Right, exactly. I mean, you got to surround yourself with the right
Exactly, yeah,
people. 'Cause
yeah.
other than that, you get yourself in situations where, what's the saying? Easy come, easy go.
Easy come, easy go. Exactly.
Right? So, MC Hammer is a case study.
Wow, yeah, MC Hammer was just like, and he admitted, he said at one point in time, Well, he felt the need to give back to the community.
Yeah, he did.
But I think they took advantage of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, yeah, people were like, he didn't even know who was doing what. I mean, he had some ridiculous people on payroll. I mean, some guy was just there for just being there.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And even
Yeah.
even Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike
same
Tyson,
thing.
yeah, of course.
He was buying jewelry. He at some point in his life, I think he was buying cars for a girl he just met. And who else? Scott Storch. Well,
Yeah.
he's Jewish, but he's part of hip hop culture. He's a famous producer. He played with the Roots. He's a keyboard player. He produced a lot of songs for Mariah Carey, for Fat
Yeah,
Joe,
yeah,
for
yeah.
I mean, you name it.
What, even if he had
sometimes in the
financial
'90s.
problems?
Oh yeah, he had a lot of notoriety back in the late '90s or the 2000s. Produced a lot of songs for a lot of people. And same thing, he was talking about actually. He had a cocaine addiction and alcohol.
Yeah.
And he ended up basically. He said, I saw him in an interview. He said that he's still alive today because he ran out of money.
That's a very interesting way of looking at it.
Right? Because he said if he didn't run out of money, he would have snorted himself to death.
Really?
Yeah. And same thing. He would meet a chick. And then the same day he said, "What do you want me to buy you a Rolls Royce? You would just go and buy it, just for shits and giggles." Yeah, yachts, you know what I mean, parties, and the debauchery was like limitless until he ran out of money.
Now, the thing about money,
Yeah,
the thing that's very interesting about money is that when you have it
right.
and you've not earned it through conventional means,
Yeah,
you don't know the value
exactly.
of money.
Yeah,
Another thing is you can have it, but it's not really your money.
right.
In as much as, for example, you are signed into a record deal. This is the best example I can come up with. And they tell you, okay, here's $1 million. You're like, whoa, yeah, boom. But
Yeah.
then you don't realize they have to recoup. They have to recoup the investment.
That's
So
right.
yeah, well, it's $1 million. And then you remember the time you had an appearance on, that limo? Yeah. Oh, the studio. Oh,
Yeah, the
wait a minute.
champagne.
Don't
and,
you own the studio? Yes, but you still have to pay for studio time.
That's right.
Publicity, marketing. So you find
That's
$1
right.
million is like
Those bottles of champagne in the back of the limo. Those girls at the back of the limo. You think they were there because they dig you?
Wait a minute, it's my money's. Where's my money? No, it's not your money's.
No, bro.
Yeah, but that's what has happened to a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially when you get a contract. And I actually saw this the other day. I was in a meeting with a friend of mine and some other individuals, and they said that when they get the contract, they actually don't read it. It just goes down to how much is the amount,
Sign here.
sign here, and whatever. They will openly admit it.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of things, especially with young artists who are so hungry, they're so eager to get the music heard. They would essentially do something that's a complete no. The record company says, "Nah, don't worry about it. You can use our lawyer."
I was in that situation.
See,
We were in that situation.
there you go.
I'm not gonna say who it was.
Right.
Very big, very famous, and the group I used to be with,
Ooh,
or the group I sing with.
see,
I don't even want to say used because we never really broke up.
Right.
Officially, so some kind of limbo like status.
got you.
But anyway, record label comes to us, guys. We like your sound, we like your music. We think you're the next big thing. Do you guys have a lawyer? Nope.
Nope. That's all right. We got you.
We'll provide you with one.
Don't worry, we got
Like,
your back.
We may be stupid.
Yeah, but
we ain't crazy.
Hey, listen,
Why would they give you a lawyer
that's right.
that's going to represent your interests
First of all,
more than them?
conflict of interest.
think?
Because, and I hate that term, but it's apropos. You can't serve two masters, and that's a lot of young talented musicians fall into that trap where like, you know what? Listen, I just want my stuff out there. I just want to create. I just want to basically be heard. I want to be seen, and in the history of like the music industry, not a lot of people got $1 million sign-in bonus. By the way, very few. It's usually a paltry sum, and then usually before anything happens, they already spent that money, not knowing that that money is going to have to be recouped before anything else. So you end up, first of all, for those of you, I mean, you're in the industry, you know that. For those of you who don't know, but once you sign a deal, right, you get a sign-in bonus.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is this. First of all, before you even see anything, that's like 6 months to a year down the line, or maybe even sometimes more, because they shelf your project.
Yes.
What ends up happening is as soon as like anything is now any revenue is being generated. 50% of that goes to the publisher. So
Yes.
if you're not the publisher, that's it. Like 50%. So if you made $100, $50 goes to the publisher.
Yeah.
The rest of the 50 now, you have to split it between, the managers, the studio session, the photo shoot. Exactly. The signing bonus, and all that. Go ahead. And brief intermission.
It's ready. Okay. You know where I told you to come to? Yeah, at Creative Arts Center,
Studio number 8.
studio number 8. Huh? Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
50%
yeah.
goes to publisher.
So
50 has to be split by everybody else.
50% goes to the publisher, and then the rest of the 50, which now becomes 100% of what's left, split between all of you. So if you're lucky, you might end up with like 5%. Not a lot of people end up with 10% of that 50%. People like Michael or Prince or the likes.
Yeah, but Michael had publishing. He was very clever.
Right, exactly.
Prince had publishing.
Right,
Lionel had
but
publishing.
I'm saying people like them. These are the smart ones. But when it comes to the guys who don't know the ins and outs of the record industry, they fall into that category.
$1 million is $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there, cash money. Which means that if they're gonna offer you $1 million, you're worth $5 million.
Of course, they see because they see the potential. They're not stupid. They're not just gonna sinking a lot of money into you and then not get anything at the end of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So basically, the industry, there were on the dark side of that, there was also the A&Rs and the handlers who would now feed the artist ego or demons or bad habits,
With whatever it
and
was
then
that they did,
capitalize on that to keep
Exactly.
you pacified.
Yes.
They had the pacifiers. If yours was coke, you had
you
an
go.
endless supply of that. Crack
Exactly.
cocaine,
There
boom.
you go.
If it's alcohol, boom. If it's whatever, pills, yeah, you're in. That
Exactly.
way they can control you. They can keep you fed, and with the bad stuff. Meanwhile, they're milking you dry.
Aha. Control
Yes, exactly.
the mind.
The mind again. Again, you see how we segue into that, folks. The mental. It is so important.
Yeah.
And they know, like the mental shackles. There are very, there are a lot of different triggers, a lot of different mechanisms by which they can control your mental capacity in terms of you now being clear, clarity of mind into thinking, okay, what am I really being revered, or am I being exploited, or am I being, what I mean, cajoled?
Hey,
and
I have champagne. I have limos. I have the girls.
exactly.
Exploit me all you want, man. and an extra $50,000 to boot.
Right. But then in the back of that, what happens is now, once you get to a point where you're no longer, relevant, they just drop you like a hot potato.
And then you have the IRS.
That's right. We're like, oh.
It's not all your money.
Listen,
OKRE, as we say over here.
yeah, exactly. From 5 years back, you owe us this much, and this much, this much. What happened? Then you're like, well, my money
Exactly.
manager, this and that, and then next thing, well, it's up to you to keep abreast of these things.
Yeah, we didn't see your manager singing on that album.
That's right. We're coming after you.
We
You're
saw you.
You're responsible for that, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
So, speaking of money management, Because as you know, statistically, oh, wait, before we go into the statistic, I said I didn't want to kill Seth Riggs. By the
Yes.
way, he's still alive.
He is, huh?
Yeah, he's 90. He's
Okay.
90 years old now.
Still doing his thing, or?
He's still doing his thing. Seth
Hey.
Riggs is an American singer, actor, and vocal coach. He has created the vocal technique as a speech level singing. That's what it was called. There was a series of cassettes, and then he went to CDs and DVDs, and then online coaching. He has worked with performers such as Prince, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and was it Jose Feliciano? Is that right?
Ah, okay. All right, all right. Seriously. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got quite the resume.
Exactly.
And he's still with us.
Yeah, so he's education Johns Hopkins University, Peabody Institute of the Johns Hopkins University, and all that. Yep.
Hey, he's good. He's a good peeps, huh?
In fact, I had his course.
Really?
Yeah, Singing for the Stars. That's what it was called. I mean, James Ingram, Bebo, Bryson. and all
Wow,
these
they all
guys.
went through him?
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think he coached some of the American Idol singers as well.
He was like music's Don LaFontaine.
That's right. Yeah. So Seth Riggs, look him up. Yeah, he's
I
still,
will.
still doing his
I
thing.
definitely will.
Yeah. So about money, right? Because statistically, a lot of marriages end in divorce, and one of the top reasons for the disconnect or the divorce is basically money
Or lack of it.
or lack of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's usually well, it could be actually both because it could be now money is being generated in a marriage in a union, and then now there's discrepancies between who basically owns what and who contributed to what. Because you get into situations where, for instance, where the young bride is the sole breadwinner,
Yes.
while the husband builds
Yes.
a successful career,
Yes.
and then now comes the discrepancy. Well, am I entitled to half? Because when you had nothing,
I was there for you.
yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things end up creating a lot of problems in the dynamics in the relationship.
Hence a
and the-
prenup.
right. Exactly. But a prenup is essentially it's not so.
It's a very weird arrangement.
It's a very- yeah.
It's like I'm getting into
It's
this.
a fairly recent thing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, but I'm getting into this based on the premise that I'm bringing what I'm bringing.
Right.
You're bringing what you're bringing, and the possibility that things don't work out. Why do you even get into a marriage in the first place? The possibility
Right.
of things not going to work out. You know,
Exactly.
it's a diabolical document.
Yeah, it is. And you know, if you're being pragmatic about it,
Yeah.
usually these sort of